Good morning, YouTube. Today's video is going to be about technology that's on its way and how it's going to affect everyone's life. And today's video is on what I call photonic computers. Now, in the media they call them optical computers. But when I first heard about this, I first started discussing this subject with my father, we refer to them as photonic computers. Photonic because in comparison to electronic computers, in that with a photonic computer the signal is carried by a photon, not an electron. And I'll just give you a little background. Just assume that what I'm telling you is bullshit, but I'm going to tell the story anyway because I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, in the 70s, when my father and I first started discussing this type of technology, my father was employed as an electrical engineer for the night vision labs over at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and he worked pretty much on anything with photons. You probably know some of his work if you've ever used night vision goggles or FLIRs, or that range finding lasers, that sort of thing. That's what they did. And over the course of his work, they would give him what they called foreign devices, and he needed to go and pull them apart, look at them, figure out how they worked, for a couple of reasons. One, they wanted to see when you're designing devices, everyone has the same problem that they have to solve. Some of them solve them with more elegant, more efficient methods. And that's one of the things that he would be looking for, was like, did they solve this problem better than we solved it? And then he'd write up a report, and then that would be used in all future design of equipment. Another reason is we needed to devise countermeasures to those devices so they wouldn't work, because not all the time, but a lot of times these devices were used by enemies of the Republic. Okay, so sometimes the devices came from allies, sometimes neutral countries, sometimes communist nations that we consider possible hostiles. Sometimes the origin of the device was unknown for whatever reason, and it was one of these devices from a unknown source that intrigued my father, actually led to the development of our night vision technology. This particular device would take photons that existed in the environment and amplify them about 1 million times, and that's how you'd get your night vision technology, which was far superior to the technology that we were developing at the time, which was technology that we got from the Germans, where they would take a beam of light, but it was in the infrared spectrum, and then they would broadcast it. So it was like a floodlight that only you could see, unless if you had these special goggles. But of course the problem with that is that if somebody on the other side had a pair of goggles, as the Egyptians found out to their horror in '73, then they know right where you are. Anyway, so the point is that this particular device, not only did it accelerate the photons and cause them to abandon that technology and go with what they would call the starlight technology, it also used photons in its circuitry. So it was a photonic device. It was the first time. It took them a while to figure that out. Anyway, so they used the information or the knowledge gained from that device to develop our night vision technology, but they were really interested in how to design photonic circuits, okay? Because this device seemed to be able to act on photons from a distance, okay? Like you can guide a photon with like a piece of glass fiber, okay? But these things just seem to be, acting. Anyway, the point is that Keep in mind, I was 15 years old when we were having this discussion, so I might be remembering it a little wrong. But anyway, there was some problem with how to direct the photons that we didn't know how, we couldn't solve. Okay, because our knowledge of physics just wasn't that great. Anyway, there was a breakthrough in October 2010. It was a mistake release by one of the universities that was working with the government to develop these optical computers, and they go like, "Hey, the breakthrough! We made it work." Okay, that was in October. Okay, you probably aren't even going to be able to find it on the internet. Okay, they probably scrubbed it, but it happened. It was kind of sad because that was also the same year that the same month that my father died, so I wasn't able to share this information with him because he would have liked it. Because this was a technology that we were really, really looking forward to seeing, and apparently we've got it, and we've had it for 8 years. Okay, so this is what this technology is going to mean to us, because we have it. We just need to get the government to frickin' give it to us. Okay, think of a computer. You don't have to worry about the heat anymore because there's no friction. Okay, the electrons bumping into those those copper molecules or atoms create a lot of friction. It slows the signal down. In a photonic device, not only is there no friction, okay, but you're traveling at the speed of light. You can't get much faster than that. So imagine a computer where that operates at incredibly fast speeds, where you can recall information with the database instantaneously. Okay, the only problem that you're going to have is when you're communicating with systems like on the other side of the world or something like that. You're always going to have some sort of latency associated with, the speed of light problems. Okay, it's not instantaneous, but it's as fast as we know that we can have it. But anyway, so these devices would revolutionize our technology. We have it. We've had it for 8 years, and we paid for this technology. Okay, this is one of my pet peeves. The government, this veil of secrecy. Not only is it covering up their corruption and their treason, but it's also preventing us from progressing. Now, I understand that they want to keep this technology to themselves to have some sort of strategic, advantage over our enemies, but, I disagree. I think that the best way to defeat our enemies is to give us the technology so that we can explode our economy. Okay, and then get everybody involved. I mean, look at example, the internet. We had the internet for decades, okay, and all they were using it for was to send emails back and forth. Look what we were able to do with the internet. We can do the same thing with this technology and all the other technologies that they're frickin' sitting on. Okay, so anyway, that's what this video is about. This is about what I'm calling photonic computers. We've got them. They've probably developed the first generation of these devices and have already kind of salted them through the defense and intelligence communities, and we need them. They need to hand them over to us. We paid for it. It's ours. Give it to us. Anyway, so there you go. Photonic computers. Their time is now, and that's about it. Later.